don't shy away from barreling turn blanks. He will have king queen clubs, king queen spades, the same for king 10, king 9 suited, ace queen, ace 10, ace 7, queen 10, and we just bet half pot, and with the equity we have, the gut shot, it's definitely a profitable bet. And half pot is totally fine to do that with. Yeah, I'm just gonna fold here. In high stakes games, I would probably be playing this hand more often, a little bit more aggressively, simply because we block sevens on any 6, 9, jack, club, we turn additional equity. But here I think it's not good. Going for a check raise with a king jack. There's not so much preflop action going on, which surprises me a little bit, to be honest. Here with an immediate gut shot and oh, this would have been a call with pocket threes. I missed that. I want to bet a little bigger here. I'm gonna bet the turn again. Want to polarize myself towards sets, very strong over pairs, and yeah, I'm gonna bet the river here as well. Might be a spot where we just want to be shoving. We're just gonna keep betting our 2 pairs and sets and apply maximum pressure. Jack 9 shouldn't be so much in his range, but we can have it. I'm gonna second barrel here. He will have a lot of 1-card flush draws. Yeah, we're just gonna bet here. He has king high flush draws, ace high flush draws, something like 10-7 with 10 in spades. And we're just gonna triple barrel this hand. Yeah, I'm gonna raise the turn here. And we're gonna 3-bet ace jack. It's always very important to play both hand categories as best as you can, no matter how you run. I mean, as you can see now, we don't have many setups on our sides, but we're playing very solid with our non-showdown hands, and this also involves luck, right? When you have bluffs and your opponents don't have good hands, your bluffs work more often. And that's very, very important to consider. I'm going to call ace 9 on the turn as well. Just too many hands, king, queen, queen 10, 10, 8. Alright, just check 8, that beats us. This is not a good card. I'm going to check forward here. Now the question is, yeah, I'm just going to jam here. If he has a set, the thing is that there might be too many action killers. But he could be messing around. Oh, wow. That's very interesting. I don't mind doing it with hand like king 9 diamonds. I mean, it's a hand that's okay to bet on the flop, but I don't get the bet on the turn. He still just has a second pair, right? We have a ton of 10x straights, 2 pairs. Even if we have a weaker 9x, the thing is that with 9-8, Jack 9, we have additional equity. So yeah, these are the mistakes we're waiting for. And this, of course, boosts our win rate heavily in this session here. And we just try to keep the solid grind going. This is not an open race. I'm gonna 3-bet 9-8 suited here. At least we managed to hit one of the more decent flops. I'm just gonna shove the flop here. He has roughly pot left. I'm gonna bet small against 3x or deuce x. Or queen 10. Come on guys, hurry up. We need to fire as many spots as possible. Gonna raise the flop. I think it's also a spot where people c-bet way too much with their range. I expect a lot of ace-high defense though, so I'm gonna second barrel a ton of turns as well. I'm gonna check back now. We have enough showdown value. Don't expect the 10 to be folding that often. Had easy fold on the river. Ace king on a 3-bet. King jack, very dynamic board, going to bet relatively large. Also gonna keep betting the turn against his... That's close, that's very close, but we're in position. Queen jacks, jack tens, and I'm gonna keep betting for value here. Most obvious bluffs would be ace x clubs. Yeah, no reason to jam. I mean, he has all the ace jacks in his range. Oh, yeah, easy call, 10 big blinds. Gonna take him as a recreational player. Jack 9 suited is not performing good enough against the 3-bet range here. So I'm just gonna fold. Even though he overcalls, he's calling with hands that heavily block my outs, queens, ace queen, ace jack suited, pocket 10, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fold here pre-flop. Gonna make a very loose 3-bet here. So far people have been folding extremely wide against 3-bets, so this 4-bet is way too small. This is how you end up being in those nasty spots. Because you did stupid things pre-flop. And we get 3-1. I don't really see how we can fold against the sizing. Gonna ISO raise the 9-8 suited. I'm gonna step the river against jack highs, 8 highs, 9 highs. Gonna bet for protection against all the broadways. And I'm gonna second barrel here the turn. I mean the 10 is not the best card. Pair plus gut shot. I think we have to call once. And see. I'm not gonna call off the river here. We can do both. We can squeeze. We can just call. I think I'm gonna go for a squeeze. Yeah, especially now. I'm gonna call once. And I'm also gonna call the turn. I mean, there are quite some draws. 8, 9, 8, ace 4, ace 6, ace deuce, diamonds. We're not blocking any diamonds. I'm not sure if he would bet ace queen diamonds or king queen diamonds. He could have queen jack diamonds. Can have a bunch of flush draws. Queens jacks are very unlikely. We could have fours, pocket sixes, ace 4 spades. So I'm just gonna call down. Fortunately, he has an easy call here. And try to check it down. Queen is not the best card. I think we have a bit of showdown value. That's a good 3-bet. I think most people wouldn't be 3-betting this hand. Gonna second barrel the turn. Very bad river. Very bad river. Okay, that's very interesting. Overcalls 9-3 off. Good to know. I'm gonna check back here. Stack to pot ratio is very small. Now we just bet. If you're hoping he has an ace, but yeah, of course, it's hard to get value if he doesn't have an ace. Oh, that was an interesting preflop defend. Pocket aces. Finally. I'm going to bet. I mean, 10-9 suited is possible, but there aren't so many draws. You shouldn't have 9-6 suited and stuff. I mean, on these stakes, you never know, but yeah. Gonna 3-bet threes here. An easy call here. Oh, people are defending very loose from the big blind. Very loose. This Valdez okay guy, he seems to be quite good. I really like his plays so far. It's probably not gonna be so long on these stakes. Yeah, in pre-ante games this might be a fold against mirrors. In ante games this is for sure defend against the button open. So it's a 7-3 off guy. I'm definitely gonna bet for value here on this board. Here we have an easy bet. Close open raise with the 7-5 suited here as well. Going to 3-bet the 10-8 suited. What's going to open raise? If he second barrels, I actually don't mind turning my hand into a bluff. I'm gonna bet small. I want him to raise with 10x hands and or get a, if I bet too big, just too obvious that I have a 10, I think. And I also get the safe calls from 4x, 2x, induce some shit. We block ace-3 suited. I'm gonna re-raise here. And we check back here. Ace-6 off. Wow. It seems to me that he was trying to freeze play me with an overpair. I mean, it really depends if he can afford an overpair. See how many tables he plays. Boyarin, 2 tables. So yeah, I'm just gonna jam. Yeah, pocket jacks. Nice hand, nice hand. He leveled me into re-raising him on the flop. And as you can see, people usually have it. Especially when he calls. I actually really like his raise there. I'm gonna raise here with my second pair and nut flush draw. If he has an ace, we have very good equity. If he has a weaker draw, we have him crushed. And now we just have to fold. Especially blocking. I mean, the 3 is quite irrelevant, but still. Ace-9 off, even though it might appear that we're going to get a good price. I'm just folding. Ace, pocket 9s, easy 3-bet. Queen-9 off against the min-raise. Yeah, it's close. The bottom of my range. I'm also going to call the turn. I either go for a check raise or I overbet the turn. I think I'm gonna go for an overbet. We blocked 10-9, which sucks. Prefer bluff catching with queen 8 here, to be honest. Over queen 9. Definitely have the feeling that people 3-bet way less in these stakes. Should be incentive for us to open raise wider, defend a little less against 3-bets. Gonna squeeze the ace 4 suited here. And easy bluff catch on the river and easy value bet as well. Interesting flop. Gonna raise it up. If he donk folds a 5 or 3, it's also pretty good for us. If he continues with a weaker flush draw, we don't mind. Gonna call once again, even though it's super annoying. Oh. Ace king should be very unlikely. Aces are possible as a trap. King, we block king queen. So I'm also gonna bet the turn. If he jams, I'm folding. I think we can bet 3 streets for value here. It's very often jacks, tens. He has 1/3 pot left. If he has a, I mean, it could be king queen suited, king queen hearts, king queen diamonds. Could be king jack suited actually as well. He has to call jacks, tens every single time. Yeah, it's very close between checking and betting. Or even has king 10 suited. Okay. He gets the whale tag. And easy call here with the 7s. That's the flop we're dreaming of. Gonna start with a small lead. Think it's also okay to check back here. It really coordinates with their ranges here. Not getting any action. I'm gonna check for the turn. He has hands like pocket 8s or ace 5 or ace 7 suited. He's really struggling with to continue. He can also have all sort of like 5x, 4x he's leading the flop with. So we have 2 overcards, a strong flush draw. And as you can see, we have 4 equity, so that makes it a decent bet there on the turn. Pocket fives, we're going to call the 3-bet. Especially when 3-bet ranges are stronger, it's much better to call with pairs, since we can win a really big pot. I'm going to check call the turn. I feel like the way he was checking back, he's very often an ace-king. He's checking back the flop, bets so small the turn. I mean, it could be the occasional ace-jack, king-jack. We at least block something like ace-5 in diamonds he could do it with. He could have all sorts of ace-kings, ace-queens. Checking back the flop and betting so small on the turn. I'm curious. Didn't really make that much sense, the bet sizing pattern. Should be betting small the flop, betting big the turn, or betting big, betting small the turn, betting big the river. He of course he can have some value hands, but the price is just too good. That if he just has a few bluffs, I can't really fold there. Pocket tens, we're gonna 3-bet. Interesting flop here. Let's see what happens. Gonna start with a big bet. And yeah, we just call it play in position with the tens. Ooh, what a nasty flop. Seems to me he has a very easy decision. He snap bets. The problem is that we pretty much just have a pure gut shot very often, since he can already have aces or kings. So, and it's very likely he jams the turn on us, and then we're not gonna realize our equity with the gut shots. So I'm just gonna fold. And then if the turn is an 8 in diamonds and he jams, we have to call very often and hate our lives, and yeah. So I think it's the best play just to fold there right away. Gonna 3-bet the queen jack suited here. Decent hand to do it with against another gun. And we're gonna bet the flop and jam the turn. And hands as a bluff, we probably have to do it with something like 9s or 10s with one heart, right? If we foresee on the flop the potential turn cards. So jacks, 10s, yeah, but it's really hard to find enough bluffs. I think I'm gonna check here, give him the room to do something. Which worked out pretty well, I would say. I think his flop call, he should just fold the flop. I mean, this is the thing that what I'm saying very often, that sometimes it doesn't really matter, that people don't really adjust to the sizings. I mean, I'm betting it very big on a board that favors my range. I'm gonna raise here his small bet. And yeah, he should just fold. I'm gonna check raise the flop, and we just treat that as a check. He apparently wants to buy a cheap card into like king 7, or I don't know. This is a little too small here, the sizing, and we're gonna keep betting the turn. And then we're gonna decide on the river. And we're gonna check and see what happens. Probably end up check folding. Don't expect that many bluffs after I pick this line. Gonna start with a bet here on the flop. What did he have? A really bad card here. Really bad card. Wanna bet big. This guy seems to be a recreational player. Bet river. I'm still calling. He could be block betting a 9 or ace king. Not a hand I would have put him on. I don't mind the river lead. He should have way more 7x than we have. But he should be betting it bigger. Polarize himself towards 2 pairs and straights. And my over pairs will have a lot of problems. What am I doing today here with 3s? Second time I misclicked folded 3s on the cutoff. Yeah, just gonna check fold here. And we have the queen in spades, so it makes it less likely. He has a flush draw. If I would not have, let's say I have queen 10 with queen and clubs, I would be check calling more often on this river. But we block his spade flush draw, so it's less likely he has a flush draw, so I'm just gonna value bet myself against the 10. But I was timing out. I'm also not really afraid of better hands. 10-3, 10 deuce, 10-6 suited in case he was limping it with. Would be betting the flop very often, protecting their hand. And also 4x would be start bluffing on the flop as well already. So a little too small, but I was running out of time. It's a hand that wants to be 3-betting and sometimes be calling with. If he 4-bets on higher stakes, I would be calling here. I'll probably just end up folding. Let's see, it depends on the sizing. Sometimes they make some really weird sizings. Let's finish the last hands and then I'm gonna wrap it up for today. I'm gonna start off with a bet. I'm gonna bet the turn here as well and bluff the river against his over pairs. And we have an easy call. We still ahead against all his flush draws, and this is a perfect river for us to bluff. Definitely want to bet a little bit on the bigger side if he has an ace to apply maximum pressure. It's a spot where I expect very little folds from an ace, so that's why I make it a little bit bigger. Oops. Okay, in this sense. Yeah, fold it anyway. Okay, usually I would have started with a bet to protect my hand, but now we are in the check call mode, and yeah, we just keep check calling here. And also check call the river. Just too many diamond draws possible. Ace high might not be betting that often on the flop, and he has all like 8, 7, 9, 8 diamonds. Look, he might not bluffing with 9, 8, 6, 5 diamonds. King, queen, king, jack, king, 9. And I think that was a very nice session apart from my ace-6 suited punt, but sometimes you're going to go with your gut, and I also want to show you guys that even what means even? It sounds so, I don't know, it sounds stupid. So we all do mistakes and we should learn from them. We should also try out things. That's very important. And in this spot, I had the feeling that he tries to freeze my action by min-raising the flop. This time he had jacks. Next time he might be folding 8s and the play works. You never know. We at least turned a gut shot, so we didn't get it in with 0% equity. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop me some comments, some questions. But if you want to elaborate more on hands, make sure to join our Discord. Our entire crew is present there, helping you out with questions, hands, whatever it is. And then see you guys next time. Bye.